There are moments in history where the United States didn't just win, it dominated. From precision strikes across the globe to tank battles that looked like video game glitches, these are the times America went absolutely beast mode on the battlefield. Number 1. D-Day, also known as Operation Overlord. On June 6, 1944, the Allied invasion of German-occupied France marked a major turning point in World War II. Nearly 160,000 Allied troops joined together to pull off the largest amphibious invasion in military history. 5 naval assault divisions were dropped on the beaches of Normandy, France, while thousands of paratroopers were dropped behind enemy lines to secure key areas and catch the Germans by surprise. The main goal of this operation was to liberate Europe and create a second front against Nazi Germany. German soldiers were already fighting the Soviets on the Eastern Front, so the United States, Great Britain, Canada, and other Allied forces seized the opportunity to relieve some of that pressure. Although D-Day resulted in significant casualties on the Allied side, the operation was largely a success. The invasion crushed the confidence of the Germans as they were now caught up in 2 separate theaters of war. Ultimately, the Allies continued to push forward. They liberated France and marked the beginning of the end for the Nazis in Western Europe. Number 2. The Battle of Midway. Fought between June 4th and 7th, 1942, the Battle of Midway was a pivotal clash in the Pacific theater of World War II. Just 6 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States struck a devastating blow to the Imperial Japanese Navy, turning the tide of the war in the Pacific. The Japanese aimed to lure American forces into a trap and eliminate their aircraft carriers. But thanks to US codebreakers, American commanders knew exactly when and where Japan would strike. As the Japanese fleet moved in, US carrier-based planes launched a surprise attack that crippled the enemy. In a matter of days, the US sank 4 Japanese aircraft carriers, a heavy cruiser, and destroyed over 250 aircraft, while only losing 1 carrier themselves. This battle marked the beginning of Japan's long retreat and proved that America wasn't just fighting back, it was taking control. Number 3. The dropping of the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In August of 1945, the United States made the most devastating military decision in history, dropping atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This marked the first and only time nuclear weapons were used in warfare, and it changed the world forever. On August 6th, a B-29 bomber named the Enola Gay dropped the first bomb, Little Boy, on Hiroshima. The explosion leveled the city, instantly killing tens of thousands and injuring countless more. Just 3 days later, on August 9th, the US dropped a second bomb, Fat Man, on Nagasaki, delivering another catastrophic blow. The goal was to force a swift Japanese surrender and avoid a prolonged ground invasion that could cost millions of lives. Within a week, Japan surrendered unconditionally, officially ending World War II. It was a grim and controversial decision, but one that demonstrated the unmatched power of the US military and introduced the world to a new era of warfare. Number 4. Operation Iraqi Freedom, the Fall of Baghdad. In the spring of 2003, the United States launched Operation Iraqi Freedom with the goal of removing Saddam Hussein from power and dismantling his regime. The invasion began on March 20th, and in less than a month, US forces were at the gates of Baghdad. By April 9th, the Iraqi capital had fallen. American troops rolled through the streets, and the world watched as a statue of Saddam Hussein was pulled down in Firdos Square, broadcast live as a symbol of the regime's collapse. The operation combined overwhelming air power, fast-moving ground forces, and precision strikes. Elite US units like the 3rd Infantry Division and the 1st Marine Division led the charge, facing scattered resistance as Saddam's military crumbled under pressure. Although the years that followed were marked by insurgency and chaos, the fall of Baghdad was a lightning-fast display of American military dominance. It showed just how quickly the US could dismantle a regime once considered untouchable. Number 5. Operation Urgent Fury in Grenada. In October of 1983, the United States launched Operation Urgent Fury, a rapid invasion of the Caribbean island of Grenada. The mission was sparked by the overthrow of the Grenadian government and the rise of a pro-Marxist military junta backed by Cuba. Fearing for the safety of American medical students on the island and determined to prevent another Soviet-aligned regime, the US responded with overwhelming force. Nearly 7,000 American troops, supported by Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and Marine units, descended on Grenada in a surprise assault. Within just a few days, the US had secured the island, rescued the hostages, and overthrown the militant government. Despite some coordination issues and early resistance, the mission was a clear success and drew global attention. Operation Urgent Fury proved that the US could project power quickly and decisively, even in complex environments. It was a message to the world that America wouldn't hesitate to protect its citizens, or its sphere of influence. Number 6. Desert Storm and the Battle of 73 Easting. In 1991, the United States led a coalition of nations into Operation Desert Storm, a massive military campaign to expel Iraqi forces from Kuwait. After Saddam Hussein invaded the small oil-rich nation, the US responded with overwhelming firepower and precision. The air campaign softened Iraqi air defenses for weeks, but it was a ground assault that showcased just how lethal and efficient American forces could be. One of the most legendary moments came during the Battle of 73 Easting, a tank battle fought in the open desert of southern Iraq. On February 26, a U.S. cavalry group commanded by Captain H.R. McMaster stumbled into an elite Iraqi Republican Guard unit. Outnumbered but armed with superior training and technology, the Americans destroyed over 80 enemy tanks and vehicles in just 23 minutes, with 0 losses. The battle became a textbook example of modern mechanized warfare. Desert Storm and the domination at 73 Easting proved that the US military could dismantle a world-class army with unmatched speed, precision, and tactical superiority. Number 7. Operation Neptune Spear, raiding bin Laden's compound. On May 2, 2011, the United States carried out one of the most daring and high-stakes missions in modern military history, Operation Neptune Spear. The objective, kill or capture Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks. After nearly a decade of searching, US intelligence tracked bin Laden to a fortified compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. In total secrecy, SEAL Team 6, America's most elite special operators, were sent in under the cover of night in stealth helicopters. The raid lasted just 40 minutes. SEALs breached the compound, cleared the rooms, and found bin Laden on the top floor. With a double tap to the head and chest, the world's most wanted man was dead. His body was flown out and buried at sea, and not a single American was killed in the operation. Neptune Spear was a flawless execution of intelligence, precision, and resolve. It proved that even after years in hiding, America never stopped hunting, and it always finishes the job. Number 8. Operation Just Cuz, the US invasion of Panama. In December of 1989, the United States launched Operation Just Cuz, a surprise invasion of Panama with the goal of capturing dictator Manuel Noriega. He was wanted on drug trafficking charges, accused of suppressing democracy, and threatening the safety of US citizens in the region. Over 27,000 American troops were deployed in a massive show of force, alongside elite special operations units. Within hours, they seized key military installations, neutralized resistance, and surrounded Noriega, who fled and took refuge in the Vatican embassy. To force his surrender, US forces famously blasted rock music, including Van Halen and Guns N' Roses, at full volume for days straight. Eventually, Noriega gave himself up and was flown to the US in handcuffs. Operation Just Cuz was over in just a few weeks. It was a textbook example of overwhelming force, precision strikes, and psychological warfare. And it reminded the world that the US could hit hard and fast, even in America's own backyard. From the beaches of Normandy to the deserts of Iraq, these moments showcase the times when the US military went beyond expectations, executing missions with speed, precision, and overwhelming force. Whether it was a full-scale invasion or a covert operation, each instance demonstrated America's unparalleled military capabilities and strategic prowess.